Hi and welcome to my channel. So moving to the UK on a different type of visa and then switching when you get to the UK can be an amazing strategy for some people to settle permanently in the UK. So in this video, I'm going to be discussing how you can switch your visa within the UK so that you can have a work visa. So, in this case, obviously, we're focusing on somebody that wants to remain permanently in the UK, have indefinite leave to remain eventually, and also get to have that British citizenship after 5 to 6 years, for example, which is the pathway that many of us have pursued in order to become British in this country. So, this is very important if you're watching this and you're planning to move to the UK, or you're already on the UK in the UK on a visa, whether you've got a dependent visa or you're planning to, you know what I mean, student visa most especially, you want to listen to this till the very end, because I'm going to be telling you really, really vital points to consider to enable you switch that visa and remain permanently in this beautiful country to make the most of the opportunities that the UK brings, which is why we're all here in the first place. So if you're new to my channel, obviously you're welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, I absolutely appreciate your time and I hope that you're finding these helpful. But if you're watching my video for the first time, I do have a newsletter where I can send information directly to your inbox so that you never rely on the YouTube algorithm, which is like a yo-yo, missing out on important information that is so vital for your personal and professional development here in the UK. So I share information about free visa sponsorship opportunities, to move to the UK or to switch from within the UK, work from home jobs that you can do, that you're not going to be worrying about childcare, geographical boundaries and limitations, very highly paid, many of which don't need any degree, they don't need any experience, no qualifications. All they need is your goodwill, your time, and your ability to problem solve. I also share info about career progression opportunities here in the UK, as well as side business, opportunities and ideas that you can start today and earn extra income so that you can make more money and stop living hand to mouth so that you can eventually retire early. If, like me, you want to retire, really, really early so you can enjoy life and get out of the rat race. So if you check the comment section below, you see a link to my newsletter. You just need to drop your name and email and you're part of that newsletter. It won't take you up to 20 seconds to do so. But if you've got any questions as I go along, please do use the comment section below and leave them, because in case I'm not covering everything or you've got a specific question. But if there's something that is private and more personal, you can also use that newsletter, which has all my contacts. You've got my email address, you've got my phone number as well, my WhatsApp number, which you can then get through to me that way. Otherwise, use the comment section and leave all your comments on there. So, let's get started. If you're moving to the UK, what is the first thing to consider when it comes to enabling you to switch your visa? Look, let me tell you, the most important thing is the type of visa that you use to get into the UK in the first place. There are so many UK visas that you can not switch. In fact, the UK has more visas that you cannot switch from within the UK than they have visas that you can switch, which means that you need to be incredibly careful. You need to be really, really careful who is giving you advice, because I have people who are coming with a type of visa that you cannot switch, and they're like, Melvis, somebody has assured me, they've guaranteed me that they will help me to switch this visa from within the UK. It is not possible. Then when they get to the UK, they spend thousands of pounds, thousands of money, and nothing comes out of it. You don't want to end up in that situation. So the first thing and the most important thing is make sure that the visa that you're using to come to the UK in the first place is a visa that you can switch from within the UK. Because if it is not, yes, you can come to the UK, but I'm sorry to say you will have to leave the country to be able to then apply for a new visa and come back all over again, which is not only time consuming, it is an incredibly stressful process for many, and it is very expensive, time consuming for nothing. You don't want to go through that pathway again. If you're watching this and you're wondering what are some of the visas that you can switch or you cannot switch, leave that in the comment section below and I'll be able to tell you whether you can switch this visa or you cannot switch the visa. If you're already in the UK, obviously is the same thing. If you By the way, in case you're watching this and you're wondering, so my name is Melvis. I live here in England. So I live in the UK. I work as an advanced nurse practitioner for the NHS. So, I trained as a nurse here in the UK. Started my journey working as a carer, and then from there I was able to progress to now working as a very senior nurse, obviously in the healthcare system here in the UK. So I'm very passionate about career progression, processes, policies, procedures, doing things properly. How do we as immigrants succeed, excel, and thrive in the UK? Because if you're like me, the only reason I came to the UK was because of career progression and better opportunities for myself. So I do not compromise when it comes to my personal and professional development. I make sure that I leave no stone unturned. So I've got a private career coaching program where I support nurses, carers, students, student nurses, prospective student nurses, and anybody that is looking for UK visa sponsorship opportunities, whether you're still out of the UK or you're already in the UK trying to switch. I have a private coaching program that I can support you with. What is your personal circumstance? What is the best next step for you to take? How do you get visa sponsorship opportunities? How do you progress? If you want to get into healthcare, you know what I mean? Because again, there are lots of opportunities in healthcare to get visa sponsorship. So it is not for nothing that it is the top industry when it comes to immigration, because it is almost like 99.9% guarantee that you're going to get a job. So I'll support you. CV, how should you present yourself? How do you apply for the jobs? Where do you find the jobs? Who is recruiting? What are they looking for? What about the interview? What are the likely questions? How do you answer them? So that's what you get as a member of my private coaching program, and all of the resources that you need in order to achieve your goals here in the UK, that individualized, that tailored, and that personalized advice that you deserve. Truth be told, YouTube videos like this are good, but they're very generic. Having somebody talk to you about your own personal circumstance is something that is very, very powerful, and I cannot overemphasize on the importance of that enough. So if you check the description box below or the about section of this YouTube channel, you're going to find a link to join that beautiful program. When you join, then yes, we're going to get started ASAP to getting you to the next stage of your UK journey. So that's the first point that we've made. Make sure that you can actually switch your visa. The second point is you need to, if you can switch the visa, obviously, because you've done point one. Point two is that yes, you do have a visa that you can switch from within the UK. What you need to do is you need to start applying for jobs as early as possible, which means by the time you make up your mind that you want to move to the UK, even if you're using a different pathway to switch from when you get to the UK, you should still be applying for jobs immediately, visa sponsorship jobs. Because look, you may think that you've got a year, for example, or 2 years in the UK. You may be surprised that you may not be able to find a visa sponsorship job within that time. Because when you move to the UK, there's going to be a lot of pressure. You've got bills to pay, you've got rent, you don't understand the system. People are busy in this country. Look, there are people that have the free will, they want to help you, but they don't have the time. And if they don't have the time, because they're busy with their own lives, they're not going to be dedicated to helping you, not because they don't want to, but because they just don't have the time. And that's why I dedicate my time through my private coaching program to support colleagues with that journey, to support colleagues in the UK so they can excel and thrive and have a dedicated place that they can come for advice, come for resources, and come for everything that they need. And that is why my program has been so powerful, and many of the members in the program have found it such a life-changing opportunity for them to be a member. So again, because I understand this from my own journey as well, being in the UK. So you need to make sure that you start applying for jobs immediately, and never stop. There should never be a day that you're not online looking for jobs, trying to update your CV, trying to find that personal statement, trying to, whatever you need to start immediately, because the time is key. 2 years are going to come by and you'll be like, oh my goodness, I've got 1 month left to my visa. What am I going to do? So that's the second thing. The third, and obviously you do them in this order. The third thing is that you always have to have a plan B. So this visa that you have, for example, if you're not able to switch in the UK, what is the plan B? Because the truth is, you always want to have another option. You always, always want to have a plan B when you're moving to another country that is, not your place of origin, because you just never know what can happen. So that's plan B. The fourth thing that you should be doing is that if you're on a dependent visa, please, you need to be applying for those visa sponsorship opportunities as well. And by the way, if you're enjoying this content, I want you to hit that like button. It lets me know they enjoy content like this, and obviously I should do more. If you know anybody that can benefit from this information, please do share with them so that they're aware of this. They can know what they should be doing, and they shouldn't take anything for granted, because while the UK has those opportunities, it can be very difficult finding those opportunities or knowing what to do and where to get started. You don't want to spend all of your time watching video after video after video with zero implementation. I'm all about implementation. And again, do feel free to share this obviously with your friends, loved ones, colleagues, so that they can benefit obviously from this info. So if you're a dependent, don't tell me that, oh, I'm on a dependent visa, so my husband or my wife is looking for a job. No, you're in the best position to find a job, because if you're a dependent in the UK, you can also switch your own visa to the main applicant, and then whoever was the main applicant previously can then become your dependent. So you can swap it around, and it works really well for a couple that is really organized, for a couple that is hardworking, not only hardworking, but for a couple that is smart. But most people, when they come to the UK, the main applicant is studying, for example. The main applicant is trying to do part-time jobs. The main applicant is trying to look after kids. The main applicant is trying to apply for visa sponsorship jobs. It is not easy. Both of you have to be applying for those jobs from day one. So what we said about step 2, it applies to both the main applicants and any dependent that you bring with you to the UK. If you're alone, you need to put in even more effort, because you're going to have more to do. I hope that this makes sense, by the way. If there's any questions that you have, leave them in the comment section below, and I will be able to answer those questions. If you've got anything that is private you want to ask me, you can use my newsletter, because it's got my contacts on there. But if you need that tailored, that individualized support, then consider joining my private coaching program, which is where I've got a really structured program where I offer that support, resources. You've got access to quite a lot, really, when you're a member. So these are some of the things that you need to consider when you're switching. And look, let me tell you, because you've watched till now, the best thing right now coming to the UK with a student visa is that you can switch your student visa even before you have completed your course, as long as you get a job and a UK employer that is willing to sponsor you. So you don't need to wait until the last second before you start rushing around. You can comfortably look for jobs, within the time that you're studying, so you can switch your visa, to a work visa. Even if you want to carry on studying, there's no problem, because you can still study on a work visa. But you just need to make sure that you are smart and you're making hay while the sun shines. So this is a huge advantage coming as a student visa. But as we all know, moving to the UK on a student visa is one of the most expensive pathways, but it can be absolutely amazing if you plan it very well, if you're smart on the courses that you choose, but also on how you get to organize yourself once you get to the UK. Otherwise, obviously, there are always quite a few plan Bs that you can have, but the whole idea is that you're able to switch, and you don't even need to consider the plan B, because all these visas that are kind of temporary visas that need switching, they generally don't count towards permanent residency in the UK, which means that if you're in the UK, you're studying for 5 years, those 5 years will not count towards you getting indefinite leave to remain in the UK. But if you come on a work visa from the first day in the UK, it's being counted towards your indefinite leave to remain. And that's why getting a work visa is so powerful and gives you access to the best opportunities. But if you are coming as a student, again, you just need to be really smart on how you organize yourself, so that you don't end up, in a situation where you're completing your studies, you're stressed out, you're not able to pass your exams, yet you don't have a job. And you know what I mean? It's really common. That happens to so many of us here. But hopefully, now that you've watched this video, you're going to be really organized, and you're going to make sure that this does not happen to you. If you need any support, obviously leave a comment in the comment section below. You've got any questions, I'll be able to answer those. And I hope to see you in the next video, because I've done loads of videos on this channel about career progression pathways in the UK, free visa sponsorship opportunities, move to the UK, organizations that are recruiting? What other alternatives do you have to the UK, for example? So, again, I hope you found this helpful. Do share with your loved ones, friends, colleagues, and I look forward to seeing you obviously in the next video.